Hello everyone, this is HammerTron here with a new action figure review for you. This time I am reviewing the Marvel Legends Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi. Yes, I said Shang-Chi. I'm trying to sound like a Chinese person who would speak Mandarin. Otherwise it might sound like Shang-Chi, but Shang-Chi. So here, this came out in 2020. It's part of the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure wave. Comes in a nice window package here. So we can see the action figure, the accessories, lots and lots of hands, a couple of weapons, and the Build-A-Figure piece. So this is the best way to buy action figures, where we can actually see what we are getting before we buy it. We can inspect it to make sure we have all of the parts that we should have and that it looks like it's in good condition. So this is the front of the box. There's the top of the box with nothing there. There's the bottom with some manufacturing information. Here is one side with a picture of Shang-Chi. Here is the other side. And here is the back. Has a picture of the action figure here. A little mini biography in English and some other languages. The Demogoblin Build-A-Figure here, the other action figures in this wave that I have already reviewed, and some more manufacturing information down here. So in just a moment I will open this up and review the action figure itself. So here are the accessories that come with the Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi. A whole bunch of little hands, a couple of weapons, I'll show those in a moment. Here's the Build-A-Figure piece. So it has a cape piece that is stored in the back part here. These hands are held in with a piece of tape. There are lots and lots of little hands here. And I'm still not used to pulling off hands or heads of the action figure, so I'm not really excited about that part. But here are the hands. They all have hinges, karate chopping hands, fists, some sort of gripping or clawing type hands, and maybe hands used for holding things, like holding the weapons. Those are the hands I might want to pull out sometime and add to the action figure later on. So all these hands look nice, lots of different poses, good for different kung fu fighting positions. And here are the weapons. Pair of nunchucks. They're made of pliable plastic, or just a little bit pliable. We don't want to bend them too much, but they're nicely sculpted and painted. So I like the attention to detail there. Now these are ideally in a static position, so they shouldn't move too much. One swinging straight out like this, and another one bent at an angle. So I think we can use these in different poses in a battle scene. So I think they look nice. Might have been nice if they had more pliability or something, or if there was a piece of string there. However, it's nice to have it in a static pose so we can keep it in a mid-swing pose for a diorama, rather than a string where it would just flop over. So these accessories look nice. I just think the hands are a little too numerous for me, and too many hands to keep track of, so I want to keep them in the action figure tray. Here is the Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu action figure. Let's see how tall this action figure is. Looks like halfway between 6 1/4 and 6.5 inches tall. So a little bit taller than most of the other Marvel Legends action figures. Let's take a closer look at this action figure. Now this Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu action figure is based on the comic book version of the character. So there was a movie, a Master of Kung Fu movie, or Shang-Chi movie a while ago. So this one's the comic book version of the character. So nice full head of hair and bandana or something wrapped around his head. Some other parts that's sticking out, pliable plastic, but it cannot be removed. Looks like a stoic expression. And there, looks very muscular. And then here's a belt. This belt piece can move around, but it seems to be attached on the back to the upper part of the body, so when we twist it, the belt stays up here and it's not part of the lower waist. And then there are his pants. So they've sculpted the musculature through the pants. Some nice design here. And painted all the way around. So that looks alright. And then he has bare feet. They sculpted the toes. And then the bottoms of his feet. So they sculpted that, and there are no peg holes on this action figure. So it's a little unusual. So here's the back. They sculpted the clothing here. Some nice details. They painted it. And his back, muscular back. And these are the hands that were on the action figure in the package. So some sort of kung fu pose, I'm guessing. So, looks nice. Now, I did not actually read the Master of Kung Fu comic books. I haven't gotten around to those. There were just so many comic books that I couldn't keep up with all of them. But I was aware of this character during the 80s. So let's take a look at the articulation. We can look up that much. Look down a lot. Turn side to side. There's tilting, a lot of tilting. And we can move this head back and forth. So a lot of movement in there. And then we have butterfly joints. So they move out this much. And move in this much. And here, the shoulder joints to get it to go up. Very, very stiff. Ratcheted. And this side will go up too, I think. Yeah, it's extremely stiff. Now I could get it to go up higher, but I had to warm it up with a hairdryer a little while ago to make it actually move because I wanted more flexibility. Let's see if I can get it in the right position. There we go. So those shoulder joints are extremely stiff, kind of hard to get them to move up. And I used a hairdryer to warm it up and loosen it up, and that did work, but then it's cooled down since then. So very strong ratcheted joints, and then as we move them, we want to be careful so that we don't get too much leverage. We don't want to snap the arm off, but also as we move it, it tends to move inside the joint, so we kind of lose track of where it is. So that's creating a little bit of a problem here, so I'm really not happy about that. And here's the bicep cut. Works on both sides. And then double jointed elbows. That might move a little more. I'm having a hard time with that one. So far, lots of joint problems, and that's unfortunate with this kind of character because Shang-Chi, the Master of Kung Fu, should have a lot more flexibility. We can turn the wrists. And they have hinges. So those are working nicely. And then we have a diaphragm cut where we can crunch forward. That's pretty good. Go back. That's pretty good. So he has some flexibility there. And waist cut. So that's pretty good. And then he can do the splits, but not very well. I expect more flexibility from the Master of Kung Fu, so it's just not very much there. And we can kick forward. Well, it's not too bad. Kick forward. And kick back a little bit. Then we have an upper thigh cut. That works. That works. Double jointed knees. So it does work. There we go. So those are working nicely. And then no boot cut, but right under the legs here, right under the pant legs, we can turn. So kind of like a boot cut. And then we can move down. I think we can move down. There we go. And go up. Okay. So this ankle is alright. And then we have a pivot there. Now this one, even with the hair dryer, I just really can't get it to move up or down. And I don't want to really keep pushing because I'm afraid I'm just going to break it off. So even with the hair dryer, I couldn't get this thing to really move more than it is. It does at least have the pivot, but I can't make the ankle move down or up on that one. So I'm just not very happy with the joints on this particular action figure because I can't get that ankle to move, which is making it a little harder to make this guy stand. Also, both shoulder joints were very, very stiff. The ratcheting was extremely tight, and I had to use a hair dryer to warm it up so it would move more, but I don't like having to do that, and then it cools off and gets hard to move again. And also, as you're moving it around, because of this shoulder design, it gets twisted around, and then I'm afraid I'm pulling or pushing at the wrong angle, and I think that's just going to cause it to break eventually. So I'm just not very happy with the joints on this particular action figure. I would like the joints to work better, especially on a Master of Kung Fu who's supposed to be flexible. So it's just not quite working out, and sometimes it's a little harder to stand, and surprisingly there are no peg holes on the bottoms of the feet of this particular action figure. So let's see if I can get him balanced. There we go. Here's the Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi next to a pair of 4-inch action figures. On the right is a 4-inch adventurer from an Animal Planet set I reviewed a while ago. And on the left is the Fortnite Jonesy action figure by Jazzwares. Here's the Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi next to a pair of 6-inch action figures. On the right is the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin White Ranger. And on the left is the Marvel Legends Mr. Fantastic action figure. Both of those are made by Hasbro. And it looks like Shang-Chi is just a little bit taller than both of them. Here is Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi next to the Fortnite Legendary Series Havoc action figure at 6 inches by Jazzwares on the left. And on the right, the Masters of the Universe Masterverse He-Man action figure at 7 inches by Mattel. Here is Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi next to the other action figures from the Demogoblin Build-A-Figure wave that I have already reviewed. We have the Superior Octopus, Vulture, Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi, the Velocity Suit Spider-Man, White Rabbit, and Spider Armor Mark III Spider-Man. The HammerTron Sledgehammer rating for Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi is not very good. I do like the action figure, how it looks. I wanted an action figure of this character. I think this would be great for a variety of dioramas or displays, so I'd be happy to have the action figure for that. The biggest problem is just the joints. I expect the joints to work right out of the package. The joints are too tight, and some of them still don't even work. And I've tried to use a hairdryer. I hate having to use a hairdryer to warm it up, to loosen it up. And that seems to work a little bit, but still, the ankle joint, I just can't get that one to move. And those shoulder joints are still very, very tight after it cools down. So I'm just worried about those things breaking in my hand as I'm playing around with it. And you know, I spent too much money on this in order to allow something like that to happen. I remember action figures from way back in the 70s and 80s and 90s where we buy the action figure, we pull it out of the package, and we can play around with it right away where all the joints are working and nothing breaks in our hand. At least not in the first day, unless we get really rough with it. But yeah, I just don't get rough with these action figures. So that's why the rating has to be so low, because it just especially disappoints me having something that I'm afraid is going to fall apart in my hands. So anyway, thank you for watching my review video. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with my future reviews. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.